Hello, hello. The now we this lecture we continue writing web projects concept. You know, uh, in the last lecture we understand about the informative guidelines which is given by the executive summary. You know, then how this web projects will forward itself. Now, in the last lecture we understand about sub elements like objective, time frame, and price, how to write a company profile, what is the scope of the project, how it should be proposed, what is the proposed solution, what are the special considerations as well, what are the current architecture, what are the proposed architecture, what are the website flow chart, and what are the flow chart descriptions, what are our proposed technology, how we develop a timeline, how we develop a delivery schedule through Gantt chart as well. Now, the focus area of this lecture is project management. In project management, how we perform our things. This should be summary of project management activities that we perform by the project team. Okay. Now, project management is a very vast domain in which we try to give an idea or and working objective for the each and every member in the project. Project key members like business delivery owner, project business delivery in the owner in the sense the business the product what we are making, like website, which is going to deliver to the client, is taken care by this person, and how he is going to manage that. You know, he will appoint the project manager for us. Okay, and project manager will try to get a team, a project team, which will develop his project. It should be mentioned here that the proposal is approved first of all for any project team. A proposal should be approved. Then team can process for the design and the project. Okay. Also, it should indicate that the client should give feedback by approval on time. Very important phenomenon. Sometimes client misses this. Timely feedback and approval make the pace of the project in a very smooth manner, and it go according to the plan. What is the project plan management? Here you can give details. What is there are softwares which are used for this project plan management, and those softwares are like MS Project, MS Excel, project management systems. Many project management systems are there. And what are the project management tools are like project setup, capturing actual error, bug tracking, quality data analysis, project matrix reports, employee training plans, weekly status report. Okay. So now we will understand here how this project setup actual how we capture actual project project system, capturing actual effort, bug tracking, quality data analysis, project matrix reports, employee training plans, weekly status reports. These all are governed under this project management tools. Project management tools give us an idea how to process these activity to available human resource we have. Now, weekly status report is always sent to the client. Okay, and so after weekly, then we go for the monthly project status review. Monthly project status review help us to monitor the progress of the project. Should also explain how the strategy issues like customer satisfaction, staff training, change control, Risk management. You know, deviation from the company procedures will be reviewed. So customer satisfaction, staff training, change control, risk management, deviation from the company procedures will be reviewed as in this monthly project status review. Moving ahead, quality is the big demand of the customer. So which quality processes we are taking care and how we are implementing all those quality processes, standard quality processes on different phases of the project. That is the need of an hour. So that's why we define our quality objective. Toyota is very Toyota, you know, is a very leading organization in defining this quality objective. Let's move. Deliver a product that meets and exceeds expectation. No schedule slippage. No PO bugs are found during acceptance testing training. Formal technical review. These are like things which take care. And when we try to make an acceptance of the monthly review to the customer, see there is a acceptance. We done an acceptance training. We done a formal technical review. So this pays the development objective. Now, describe this detailed description of the technical review plan. For the why we need a detailed description of the technical review plan, let me tell you. Because technology domain is very vast. Okay. And why we select that particular database, why we select that particular programming language is very much on a point of discussion. So when we have this point of discussion, then only we are able to get it. Okay. So for this we have our example code review, checking for adherence to standards and naming conventions. Let's move ahead. Like software testing. Software testing describe the detailed description of the software unit testing planning, test cases creation. Standards. Explain the standards and processes that will follow throughout the life cycle of the project. Enforcement of a standard. Explain how the team will follow the standard in project life cycle. Block classification. These are under this technical review plan only. How we are going to do so by the help of the software testing, by the help of the standards, by the enforcement of the standards, by block classification, like P0 for the critical, P1 for the non-critical, like this. Project communication management. Here we how we will take the feedback and approval of the client. Emails, very much important, and it is used for the sending project documents for the clients for their approval. Telephonic conferences. Explain how teleconferencing will be used to keep the project on the track and in good health. Project risk management. This will have detailed description of the project risk identification, assessment, and their mitigation plan. Project related risk. This should explain risk associated with the project, like increasing or changing requirement from users, delay in client feedback approval. Project life cycle. This should give a detailed description of the project life cycle model that will use for the project with diagram, waterfall, HIL, spiral, increment, etc. Project orientation, rules and responsibility. We should also explain the roles and responsibility of the project team, automation and that of the client. Team structure. This should show the team structure of the project in hierarchical fashion. And also shows this interaction with client project team. Also, it should depict who reports to whom. This is all the property of the team structure. Now, this is what a project management is all about. In the project management, we usually take care of these following activities, like project plan management, project unit tools we are working on, how to get a multi status, how we are managing the quality, how testing of the various codes are taking care, how we, you know, managing a communication with client and, and the team. Now, after that, we have to move from there to project configuration management and how this configuration management will take care. The project configuration management, see, we just understand this topic in three different arenas. This how we write a work project, understand like by a basic executive summary way. Then in basics, we understand the scope and what will the flow and descriptions of each and every variables. Then how this variable will be managed is taken care by the project management concept. And now how this all variable will interact with each other is taken by project configuration management. Okay, so we will now going to understand about what is project configuration management is all about. Project configuration management explains the scope of the configuration activities for the project. Understand this scope of the configuration activities for the project. Now, for this, see, this project configuration management is very much, a responsible factor to manage the versions of same software. You know, configuration management help us to control, items which will be stored and versioned. It will be stored in the project configuration management and is versioned according to their new maintenance. Okay, like project one, we usually get softwares like 1.1, 1.1.2, 1.1.3. Then we get a new update 2, 2.2.1, 2.2.2. So there is a meaning behind that, and that meaning is defined this by this project configuration management. Let's move ahead. Configuration items. You can give the list of all the items which have been identified as a configuration item for the project, like functional specification, detailed design, source code. These are the configurational items, these functional specifications. What are these configurational items? Functional specifications, detailed design, source code, etc. So when there is a changes in functional specification, detailed design, source code, we are able to get a new version of that software. Okay, so this is taken care by our project configuration management process. And now there is the changes in this functional specification, detailed design, source code, we will have a change. For that change, we need to have a change control procedure. Okay, this change control procedure have a template in an organization, which it will be taken care by the project management team. So this change control procedure will handle change requests for the project, and there are template design for this in the appendix only. Here it is appendix, which is the change control procedure will take care. See, this is a change request form. We just have organization need to know which customer need the change, their contact number, what is the project ID within organization, who is the leading that project, and what is the project name. And client will see what is the priority of this change, initiated by client or that client or our own business organization. Change required, functional, code, whatever. What is the reasons? What will the effort and impact? what are the affected modules and documents will be due to this change, what are its costing, and decision is approved or not, and whether it is on its day. So on that, then owner will request the number, what number request number will get a request number, receive date, in which date he will be, you know, receive the offshore, in the sense the client is on the offshore. He will get a documentation on the offshore, and he is on an offshore. The receiving date is also there to the offshore client. Actually, on the offshore project, the receiving date is very important because they are very strict on the time. What is the effort and impact? What is the modules and documentations are affected, and what are the costing of it? So this is a change control process. Now, after the change, we will have a reporting process. Who will report whom and how is very important decision to be taken. And it from this we are able to help how the issue be, how within the organization, how the issue will, you know, how will the issue will be, escalated in front of team in case of conflict and problems. Because one platform should be there where the person is open up that this problem is due to this problem is due to this, you know, and this open arena help us to understand this. Now, what are the documentation? Here we can give a list of documents which were prepared and delivered to the client. What we have, in our, what do we have, in our this change appendix A form, that is a change form, change request form. So this documentation need to be take care actually. Need to be take care and prepare like function specification and details map. Now, what are those documents are? Documentations are like functional specification, details, and user manuals. If we need to change anything within that, we need approval. We need that process. Change request form will be there. Most major important thing. A descriptive breakdown of the costing phase wise or deliverable wise or a total quote including the end date before the price will need to be recalculated, because efforts are going to be double in case of the change. Then project costing need to be recalculated. So client usually do not pay project in advance or in full. It just pay phase wise. Deliverables when he get this much of set pattern, or there is a set pattern and timeline has been defined, within this period will get this deliverable, and that deliverable will have this much of the costing, and this much of the costing have to pay by from the client to the business organization. Okay, so ensure you take into account the business related items, include travel, time, electricity, telephones, and consumables. Bear in mind that things are rarely go strict to the plan in web projects. Delays can be expected. Also, the cost of the project is dependent upon the complexity of the task. How much task is complex, project cost will increase it. And the competency of the developer and designer as well. Competency is a very important factor. Intern will take a larger time, experienced professional will take lesser time. Okay. In your eagerness, gain the contract. You will lose money if you go too close to the bone. Time is money, very important. Time is money. Acceptance. This should be detailed description of the acceptance guidelines rules for the project. We have our form. We have our forms in general. Acceptance criteria. We define our criteria before the project initiation, whatever the acceptance criteria will be, and when the deliverables will be there, what the checking should be. Performance guarantee. This should explain how the project team ensure that the product has no performance issues. Also, it can handle post-production product related performance related issues. Acceptance performance. Describe who will develop the acceptance test plan. Also describes that it will be client responsibility to acknowledge, review, and approve. the delivery as a complete acceptable within 2 weeks, or when the final delivery mm, being made. Now, if acceptance performance will be rejected, what we'll need to do? We have our acceptance test plan, and if acceptance is rejected by the owner or that customer, what the business owner will do? Then you have to rework on the software. That's it, according to its new requirement. That's why we say that the web development is a complex burden, and its costing is not decided earlier. It depend upon the deliverables. Warranty support. Describe how long the team will support the product after the final release. Usually 30 days of the acceptance or deemed acceptance of the product. General terms and conditions. Expectations and commitments. It is not usual for web projects to be delayed due to the clients not supplying feedback or content necessary to complete section. It is just as important to be clear in what you expect from your clients as you explain your commitment to them. Because when you understand, then only when you understand the client requirement, then only you are going to act on it. So conflict resolution issues and feedback mechanisms should be described to the client, and the both parties should be agree on it. Your client will need to know what will occur if they do not supply information when requested or request changes midstream, and the action that you will take if you are running behind the project yourself. You need to be clear on the payment details and the consequences of the failure pay for the service that you provide. See, it's a two-way game. If a client is not able to pay on your time, then how our effort will get a motivational push. That motivational push is due to the this on-time payment. Mocks up samples. Be careful not to give too much away, just enough to give the client a good idea of what the site will look like. Ensure the copyright notices, intellectual property statements are in place. Very important. Ongoing website maintenance. Summarize for an ongoing website maintenance or the implication of the client deciding the update or the maintain the site themselves after it has been stabilized. And costing should be have a point of the discussion for this phase. Proposal validity or this on which time until time on which time this proposal is valid, it should be noted. What are the disclosures from the business persons? You should make it clear that the entire project will be performed by your company. If an external resource is expected to become part of the team, then it may be necessary to revisit costing based on redistribution. Like usually client take care in the period of the time client understands the project and try to give some other party and say this part will be taken care by this. Now this need to be discussed initially. The above points are usually sufficient to put together a professional website and design. Proposal for a small to medium web projects. It has worked for us for many projects. Be prepared to give a presentation on the proposal to the clients. Most of the clients prefer to a presentation on the proposal to ensure that you are on the same page. Also, first you need to release a draft version of the proposal document and send it to sponsor stakeholders so that they want any change. You can easily negotiate with them before releasing final version of the proposal. You should also ensure that the proposal should address all the concern issues the client has laid down. Also, many clients like to negotiate with costs and schedules. Should be prepared to do some heavy revision to satisfy your clients and find a middle ground where all the parties feel comfortable. Some clients want the proposal documentation in certain form. Respect that as well. Additionally, remember that some companies will ask you for the proposal purely to use the comparisons against another company that they are interested in hiring. So try and limit the amount of the time you spend with the draft until the client gives indication of serious interest. Okay, so in the last two lectures we are able to understand about how web projects are produced on the paper. Okay, I hope you people will understand what are the complexity behind this. What is the project management? What is the project configuration management? How and how? What is the processes we take here? I hope you understand this. Okay. So I'm signing off. You all take care. Thank you.